Jack, that was obviously a really disappointing start to 2017. How did you assess the game?
Not good enough for a lot of reasons, and the biggest one being the energy, desire, heart, commitment, whatever you want to call it, was lacking. And when you don't have that, you struggle to get anything from a football match.
How frustrating was it to lose the first goal right on the stroke of half time, and then what did you say to the players at half time?
It was frustrating in terms of obviously when I was going behind. My message to the players wasn't going to change because I was hugely disappointed with the first half anyway. The goal didn't change a lot of it because I was angry, I was frustrated, annoyed that a lot of things we speak about working on a daily basis they hadn't done. The game was flat. I don't think there was a lot in the game, but it was flat. It's our duty at home, and we're bottom of the table. We're bottom of the table and desperate for wins. That should be evident in our performance. Mistakes, I'll take them, but as long as there's an energy and a passion about our play, and that wasn't there, so the frustration was just compounded. I was already frustrated by the performance.
And losing the 2 goals in the second half as well, and generally finishing 3-0, how frustrating and disappointing was that?
Yeah, look, the scoreline, I'm not saying becomes irrelevant because a defeat's a defeat, and we obviously are starting, we've got a lot of forward-going players on, but we should still not fold as easily as we folded because we did, and that's the reality of the players, and I always tell the players what I'm going to say publicly, and they did, they folded. It's not acceptable, they can't be like that as individuals, as a group. My responsibility to lead a team and manage a team and get the best team out there possible, and so I feel let down today by them, but ultimately the responsibility will stop with me as well.
Obviously the last couple of games, including last week, the fluidity of the team maybe not being as good as it was previously. What do you put that down to?
I think it's courage and bravery to go and play. They're working for a manager that, as I said, will accept mistakes, do it all the time, even in training. They'll accept them as long as there's a willingness to go and take the ball and pass the ball and take responsibility. You can stress that message as much as you want, you can work on it as much as you want in training. When they go across the white line, I said that to them, there's about 10% of the game probably played in their feet. There's a lot of it played in their heart and a huge amount played in their head. They've got to be able to handle the pressure that they're under at the moment, because they're under pressure, of course they are. We need results, we all need results, but they've got to be able to handle it.
In terms of the general outlook, it doesn't really change too much with the result today with Ayr United losing. It's still a 7-point gap. You've got to Dunfermline next week. They're one of the form teams in the league. How difficult is that going to be?
It'll be immensely difficult if we produce another performance like that. That's the reality of it. If we play like we had been doing previously, we've got a good chance of going to win the game. If we reproduce that performance, we'll get beat, and that's it, simple as that. And my responsibility to make sure I get a team on the park next week that doesn't produce that level of commitment, doesn't represent the badge in the way that it did today.
How do you pick the players up after a performance and a result like today?
You go in and you do your job properly. I go in and I work incredibly hard at doing this job properly and right, and working as hard as I can work at it. So I go in there Monday to do that job properly again. They have a responsibility amongst themselves to come in that way as well, to say, I want to put this Saturday right the next game I get. It's the only thing good about football, you always get a chance to put wrongs right, and they've got that next Saturday. They have to come in with that mindset. If there's any of them that don't have the mindset, then I'll recognise that right away, and there's people out there, and that'll be the people that I wouldn't trust next weekend to go and represent the club. What
now for the club in terms of trying to stay in the division? How difficult is that going to be, or how much faith do you have that you can keep the team up?
I always believe in my own ability to do the job. It's never going to change. I'll always look at what I do, of course I will. I'll always welcome any criticism or comment. That's fine, anybody that doesn't do that is foolish. But my belief in doing the job will never change, because I believe I do things in a positive way with the players. I believe that I try and give them every single thing I possibly can to go out there and produce a performance and a result. As a coaching staff, we need that back as well. That's what I've said that to the players. So I'm not going to say anything here that I wouldn't say to them within that dressing room, because they need to take that responsibility on. They need to be able to handle it and deal with it and drag themselves out of this situation.
Craig Story joins up with the squad on Monday. Are you hoping to have anything else done ahead of the game against Dunfermline on Saturday?
Yeah, hopeful. Yeah, we are hopeful that but again, we're working within a limited budget in terms of what we've got out. But I'd be very hopeful at least we have one new face and possibly 2 again, and it depends on further turnover in the squad in terms of if we can do anything else.
You're having a chat with some supporters at full time. What was happening there?
Look, I've spoken about this to the national press there as well, that I think you remember after the Post-Barton game I went into the supporters bar and spoke to supporters. I get frustrated in Scottish football with this division that we have between supporters and management, supporters and players, especially in difficult times, because the easiest thing in the world is to go in the defensive and put this barrier between you. I will speak to any supporter at any time. I wasn't that enamoured with the manner in which it was getting done, so the individual in question, I explained that to him. I did it in a calm way, a constructive way. I think the supporters that were around me when I spoke will know that. I accepted that performance isn't good enough, and I understand that fans are passionate. They've been supporters of this club long before I was here as a player, as a manager. They'll be here long after I'm here, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. But equally, speak to me in a constructive, proper way, and I will have conversations with them anytime, anywhere, whether it's in the match stadium, whether it's at the training ground, whether it's at another event. I'll do it. I'll happily speak to them, because I wouldn't like MD ever to question my desire for this football club to do better than it's doing. You know, this is my club now. When I'm in this job, this is my club. It's not cliched, it's true. When I go home tonight, I don't sleep because I think about it, because I want this club to do better. I want that team out there to represent what I'm like as a manager and as a coach. So that was it. And I know people will make a lot of it, and some people might not like it, but I would do it to any part of this stadium, to any supporter. And I can only do that, and if they don't accept me speaking in that manner, fine, but I would attempt to do it all the time and welcome that opportunity to speak to supporters at any time, because they are important, of course they are, but don't ever doubt that I care just as much.